We continue now at the top of Daf 25a Daf in Meseches Nedarim. This is Nedarim Daf 25a. On the previous summer, Ravina said to Rav Ashi, maybe if a person takes a shvuah and he says that he has seen Ka'ole Mitzrayim, maybe he just really meant that he saw an anthill, and that's what he referred to as Ole Mitzrayim. And the Gemara continues, Amar Lei, so Rav Ashi said back to Ravina, Ki mishtaba adaita didon mishtaba. When a person is taking an oath, when a person takes a shvuah, he's doing it according to our understanding. It's not the normal way that a person calls ants Ole Mitzrayim. We certainly did not think of, it didn't occur to us that he's referring to ants. But the Gemara continues, but is it really true that a person does not take a shvuah according to his own understanding? But we learned in a brisa, when they make the person take a shvuah, they say to him, you should know, we're not giving you a shvuah based on the condition in your understanding, rather it's according to our understanding. Some people have the gears of das hamakom, that it's on the das of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and on the das of the Bezdin. That's how we are giving you the shvuah. In other words, they tell him in that particular situation that you're taking the shvuah on our das. And the Gemara continues, liafuke mai. So what is this brisa coming to exclude? When it says the mode of a mixas takes the shvuah according to the das of the bezin, in what other fashion would he take the shvuah? Lav lafuke da'asik lahu iskundri. Isn't the case where he paid back some tokens, so he's being mode of a mixas and taking a shvuah that he paid back some money, but in his mind, va'asik lahon shema zuzah, he calls the tokens, he calls them zuzah, he calls them money. And so we're telling him that you have to take the shvuah according to our understanding. You can't say in your shvuah, you can't think in your shvuah that you're referring to iskundri when you're really referring to zuzi. And from the fact that it says that we make this mode of a mixas take the shvuah according to our understanding, that sounds like that there are some people who would take a shvuah according to their own understanding. It's possible to take a shvuah according to your own understanding. Specifically, in the case of mode of a mixas, we ensure that this is not the case. And the Gemara says, no, that's not what the brisa is coming to exclude. Rather, liafuke mikanya de Rava. It's coming to exclude a situation like the kanya of Rava, which refers to the cane of Rava. And the Gemara continues, there was an individual, he was owed money by somebody else. Also, Lakami de Rava came before Rava. Amar le Lova, and the Malva said to the Lova, Zil parali, pay me. Amar le Paratichi, so he said, no, I already did pay you. Amar le Rava, so Rava said to him, Imkain zil ishtabale de parate. If that's the case, you have to take a shvuah that you paid him. Azal va'isi kanya, so he went ahead and he brought a cane. V'yoyev zuzi begavi, and he put some money inside the cane. V'amistamich v'yazal, he was leaning on the cane, he was coming into the Bezdin. V'yasi ole lebeidin, he came to the Bezdin with the cane. Amar le Lamalva, then he said to the Malva, Nekotai kanya biyadach, can you hold my cane for me while I take the shvuah? Nasav sefer Torah v'shtabe, he took a sefer Torah, he took the shvuah, the pari that he paid him, kol mad havale biyadi, that he gave him everything that he had. So the Malva became angry because he knew that he wasn't paid. V'tavra lukanyan, he broke the cane. V'shtabach hanu zuzei li'aren, so the money had spilled out onto the ground. V'shtakach de kushto ishtab. It turned out that he had sworn what was really true because he really did give the money. Now in this particular situation, it's not that the person, the lova, has some different understanding of the shvuah, that he understands tokens instead of money. In this particular case, he actually did give him the money. And that's why we're giving him the shvuah. We're saying it's al datenu according to our understanding. You can't sneak the money into a cane and say that in that fashion you've taken a shvuah that wasn't false. That you're not allowed to do. But the Gemara continues, V'akati, but still, lo avid mishtaba adaita denafshe, do people not take a shvuah according to their own understanding? V'atani, but we learned in a brisa, V'chein motzinu b'Moshe Rabbeinu, likewise we find by Moshe Rabbeinu, Kishishbiyaz Yisrael bi'arvos Moav, when he gave Klal Yisrael the shvuah at the plains of Moav, Amar lem, he said to them, Have yodim, you should know, Shalo al daitchem ani mashpiyaschem, that I'm not having you take the shvuah according to your understanding, El al daiti v'al das hamakom, rather it's according to my understanding, and the das of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, shenemar like it says, not you alone. So my Amarlu Moshe Yisrael. So what was Moshe saying to Klal Yisrael? Lav hachi kamarlu, wasn't he saying to them as follows? Dilma avrisun mili v'amrisun al datenu. Maybe what's going to happen is you'll transgress and you'll say that we were taking the shvuah according to our own understanding. Mishum hachi amarlu al daiti, and that's why I said you're going to do it according to my understanding. And le'afuke mine, what's that excluding? What were they going to be thinking at the time of the Shvuah? Maybe what they were thinking is it not to exclude a case? Let's say that they call, when they said in the Shvuah Eloah, they said God, they were referring to Avodah Zarah, and therefore that's the way that they could have understood the Shvuah. So again, that's why Moshe Rabbeinu said you can't interpret the Shvuah different than the way that we're understanding it. And again, that implies that in general, people would take a Shvuah according to their own understanding of the terms. And to that the Gemara says, Lo, no, avodas kochavim ikri Eloah. It's not that they are going to say that we understood the term that way. Avodah Zarah can be called Eloah. Dechsiv, like the pasuk itself says, Uvechol Elohei Mitzrayim v'gomer. It says Elohei Mitzrayim. So therefore, that would actually not be them taking it according to their own understanding of the term. That is how the term could be understood. But the Gemara continues, V'lishava yason demekayim mison mitzvah. So why not just give them a shvuah that they're going to fulfill the mitzvah? So there's no alternate understanding, and then there would be no room for confusion. And the Gemara says, no, mashma mitzvahs hamelech. The word mitzvahs can also be mashma. It can also imply the commandments of a king. V'lishava yason demekayim mison kol mitzvah. So why not just say all of the mitzvahs? And to that the Gemara says, no, mashma mitzvah tzitzis, that might only imply the mitzvah of tzitzis. The Amar Mar, because the master said, shkula mitzvah tzitzis keneged kol mitzvah shevatorah, that the mitzvah of tzitzis is equal, it's equivalent to all the mitzvahs in the Torah. V'lishava yason demekayim misan Torah, so why not just make them take a shvuah that they'll fulfill the Torah? And the Gemara responds, mashma Torah achas. That would just imply one Torah, would imply only the Torah shebechsav, not necessarily both the Torah shebechsav and the Torah shebal peh. But the Gemara continues, V'lishava yason demekayim misan Toros. So why not just have them take a shvuah that they'll fulfill the Toros, meaning the Torah shebechsav and the Torah shebal peh? And to that the Gemara responds, mashma Toras mincha, Toras chatas, Toras osham. That could imply the Toras mincha, the laws of the karban mincha and the chatas and the osham. So the Gemara says, V'lishava yason demekayim misan Toros u'mitzvos. So then just say Toros and mitzvos, and that would be clear. And the Gemara says, no, Toros mashma Toras HaMincha. No, because Toros could be the Toras HaMincha. And mitzvahs mashma mitzvahs HaMelech. Mitzvahs could be the mitzvahs HaMelech. So it's still not clear. V'lishava yason demekayim misan Torah kula. Why not just say Torah kula? Torah kula mashma avodas kochavim. Torah kula can be mashma that you don't do avodah zarah. The Tanya, as we learned in a brisa, chamura avodas kochavim is strict. Shekol hakofer ba kilu moda b'Torah kula. Anyone who denies avodah zarah, it's like admitting to the whole Torah. And the Gemara says, "V'lishava yason demekayim misan avodas kochavim v'Torah kula." So why not have them take a shvuah that they're going to fulfill the mitzvah not to avodah zarah, and also to fulfill the entire Torah? Inami sheish me'osu shlosh esrei mitzvahs, or maybe make them take a shvuah that they're going to keep the 613 mitzvahs. And so the Gemara says, "Ella rather Moshe Rabbeinu milsa de lo tricha nakat." You're right. There could have been a way to formulate the shvuah where there's no other understanding, but Moshe Rabbeinu would rather have done it in a way that doesn't constitute a burden, that's not a bother, and therefore he did a simple solution. He simply said, "You're taking the shvuah according to my understanding and the understanding of HaKadosh Baruch Hu." And the Gemara continues at the two dots. The Mishnah said, "Im lo ra'isi nachash kekoras beis habad." If I haven't seen a snake the size of an olive press, that was also a neder of exaggeration, which is mutter. And the Gemara says, "V'lo, is there really no such thing as a snake that size?" V'hahu chivya dehava b'shnei shvor malka. There was a snake during the times of King Shapur. Ramu leit leisa or vosa de tifna. They put in front of it 13 bundles of straw. Ubala yason, and the snake swallowed it. You see that it was that size. And the Gemara answers, Amar Shmuel says, Shmuel B'Torah, if we're talking about grooves, just like an olive press has grooves, we're talking about the fact that the person says the snake has grooves, that is very rare. The Gemara says, what do you mean? Kulu nachshi mitraf tarfi, all snakes have grooves on their body. And the Gemara says, no, agabo taraf kamrin, we're talking about grooves on the back of the snake, that is exceedingly rare. The Gemara says, Velisni taraf, so why not just say that in the Mishnah, talk about a snake that has grooves? Why talk about the fact that it's like the Beis Habad? And the Gemara says, Milsa agavurchi kamashmal, and the Mishnah is teaching us something else along the way. The Koras Beis Habad gabo taraf, that the Koras Beis Habad as well, the beams of the olive press as well, the back is going to be grooved. The Gemara says, Lamai nafka mina, what difference does that make? Lamekach umemker makes a difference in terms of a sale. Lomar lach, to tell us, Hamocher Koras Beis Habad l'chaver, that if someone sells an olive press to his friend, igabo taraf in, so if the back is grooved, so then that's considered a Koras Beis Habad, and that would be a good sale. V'ilo lo, and if not, then it is not a good sale. And we'll continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf 25a Amud Beis.